obsession becomes an addiction, what happens to that? I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it's very difficult to emulate. It's very difficult to, for example, ஒரு ஃபாஸ்டான கார்ல போறது, going after a girl madly and all that. Because there is a physical involvement, there is a mental involvement. Even at 52, today he's come as Onion, Ambi, Remo. In spite of all that, a great talent sticking around with a family business becomes the way he negotiates with people, negotiates with governments. So in essence, what is there for family businesses out of this? This is Suresh Ramanujam, family business custodian. So, Varis episode we discussed about a real family business where the passion gets into obsession and eventually what happens to the business and the family. Indiki adanoda adutha level, if obsession becomes an addiction, what happens to that? Yes, you all guessed the person right. I think it is none other than Elon Musk. ஒரு 2 weeks ago, Elon Musk பத்தி ஒரு fantastic autobiography வந்திருக்கு. So, it is written by Walter Isaacson. He is a genius autobiographer who has actually done autobiography about Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, Steve Jobs, and now it is Elon Musk. And he has crafted a fantastic autobiography. So, don't miss reading it. We have picked up the content, the data from this book, and with respect to this release of the book, Walter Isaacson has given certain interviews, and so we picked up some content, some details about Elon Musk, and this episode we are doing based on that. Elon Musk பத்தி படிக்கும்போது அதை பற்றி தெரிஞ்சுக்கும்போது ஆக்சுவலி எனக்கு ஒரு வேர்டு ஞாபகம் வந்தது. I think you see many of the family businesses, wealth accumulation, wealth creation alone is not the only objective. Okay, what drives the entrepreneur or a promoter is also the sheer kick. Kick என்றது it's an unimaginable, unexplainable feeling, right? In fact, I asked many of the promoters saying, sir, you're a small family, why are you creating such a large enterprise? It's spread across so many geographies and there are multiple businesses. Who's going to manage? If the children are not interested, what will you do? And everything is on your head. And you are the movers and shaker of the business. அப்படிலாம் கேட்கும்போது people always used to come and tell, see, ஒரு பக்கம் IPO, valuation, value creation, all that is one side. There is a sheer kick there in, scaling a business and creating a huge infrastructure, giving work for about 10,000 people and spread across the country and all that. So people always used to say, kick is one of the driver. Yes. But kick வந்து rationalize பண்ண முடியாது. But at the same time, if you are a smart businessman, this kick has to follow a structure, follow some governance, follow some, controls. So இதெல்லாம் இருந்துச்சுன்னா ஆக்சுவலாக இந்த கிக்கை வந்து ஒரு ஃபென்டாஸ்டிக், சஸ்டைனபிள், லாங் லாஸ்டிங் என்டர்பிரைஸாக உருவாக்க முடியும். அந்த வகையில் ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் நான் ஒன் மோர் பர்சன் அட்மயர் முகேஷ் அம்பானி எடுத்துக்கிட்டேன். ஸோ அவருக்கு வந்து இனிமேல் என்ன வெல்த்து பெருசாக பண்ணணுன்ற ஒரு எண்ணம். It is basically the reason why he's into multiple businesses is primarily because something drives him, right, to scale. Because people always say Reliance understands only one language, which is scale. So for him, creating a scalable business in every segment probably gives him a kick, right? And that is what drives him, no matter what. So Elon Musk கதையும் அதுதான். இது கிக்கோ கிக்கு. Lights, camera, family business, igniting minds with movies. Why we have taken this episode is primarily because I personally admired a character like this. How can somebody be like this? How God has created such a very different and a difficult human being who's cut out to make history like this. And so lots of astonishing, unimaginable attributes பத்தி நான் பார்க்கும்போது I just thought at least those attributes, those admirations, I need to share it with you. I'm sure there are a few lessons as well in this, but there is one word of caution, is that please don't try to imitate Elon Musk. It's deadly. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it's very difficult to emulate. It's very difficult to follow. In fact, in those days, there'll be TV advertisements, and there is a recent Volvo advertisement has also come, where there will be some stunts will be played by the people on the vehicles. In the two-wheelers, they'll jump up and down, scrape through like this and dive and all this stuff. And finally, they'll say, this is done by professional people in a controlled environment. Please don't try at home. That's how the disclaimer people will put it. I would put a similar disclaimer to Elon Musk for a simple reason. It is difficult to emulate. It is, don't get bogged down about how I can be like him. Don't get really worked about what can I be like him, when can I be like him, what should I do, what should I study, and how do I go about. Don't get confused about all that. This episode is primarily about my admiration about Elon Musk as an entrepreneur, Elon Musk as a person, Elon Musk's personality as a whole, how it has made a big difference in his business, what has caused this, what are the triggers of certain behaviors of him, and what is he cut out for, and what is his larger purpose, what is his dream, how somebody is able to visualize things like this, and how he is able to manage business, family, everything in a very compartmentalized manner, and eventually very, very successful in whatever he is doing. So this is not only my personal opinion. Even the author Walter Isaacson says that Elon Musk is addicted to danger, he is addicted to risk, and he is addicted to adventures. So in most of these cases, the probability is fatal. So he says, please don't try to imitate Elon Musk or Steve Jobs kind of characters. That's the word of caution. Not me saying, author is also saying. So earlier I discussed about obsession and addiction. There is a thin line. Obsession means it is a mental and emotional dependence on your thoughts and ideas. So addiction is all about physical and psychological dependence on the substance. For example, or fast-ana carla poradhu, going after a girl madly and all that. Because there is a physical involvement, there is a mental involvement, and there is a psychological involvement. So Elon Musk's case is more addiction. Okay, is obsession and addiction, right? So we'll discuss more about that. We are going to discuss about unimaginable attributes of 4 key aspects of his life. One is him as a person. 2, as a personality, what kind of a personality he is. The third thing is the kind of power he is wielded and he is continued to wield. And 4 is the purpose. What is the purpose behind all of this? And what is he trying to do? So these are the 4 key P's which we are going to discuss in this episode. Just to give you a small detail about a person and a personality, because more often people always think both are the same. No, it is not. There is a small difference between a person and a personality. A person refers to an individual, which is primarily his history, his upbringing, and the nature and the kind of childhood he has gone through. Whereas the personality is more of his character, his behaviors, his traits, and the thought patterns. So there is a slight difference between both. Now let's talk about Elon Musk as a person. So Elon Musk as a person, if you really look at it, I think from childhood, he seemed to have a lot of issues. He had a very abusive father and very tough childhood. But he's a smart kid in school and college. And he seemed to have, because of the emotional scars he carries from childhood, he had lots of relationship issues, with people. So he has a colorful life as a person, and he also has a fantastic life as a person who's running business. So this really astonishes me, because how his emotional mental makeup is and how he's able to deal with all this as a person. That is why I said it's very difficult or not to imitate certain behaviors of him as a person. But what amuses me is this. As a person, I agree, he had so much of childhood issues, but even at 52, today he is relentless as a person. So in essence, if you really look at it, Elon Musk had a complex past, complex relationships, complex businesses, which are large and mighty. And how is he able to deal with this as a person, as an individual, as a human being? This is something which amazes me all the time. Now you saw Elon as a person, but now even the personality is also pretty complex, right? One important thing the author says is that he is more driven by his mission, his dreams, rather than any human or any relationships. And he's been very vocal about it. There is one quote I saw in his books actually which reflects his personality. Okay, let me read it, just have a look. To anyone I offended, I just want to say I reinvented electric cars and I'm sending people to Mars in a rocket ship. Did you think I'm also going to be a chill and normal dude? That's what he says. So basically, he says if you get offended, don't think bad or good. I have my own vision. I send people to Mars. I make electric cars. So I'm not chilling either. Okay, I'm also as stressed as you are. So that's broadly he says. Apart from that, the author talks about his 5 different modes. Just like the way in the cars and air conditioner you have multiple modes, Elon Musk has 5 modes. Okay, he says one is human mode, another one is engineering mode, third is dark demon mode, fourth is giddy mode, and the fifth is silly mode. I mean, there's a movie called Onion in Tamil. So in that movie, Vikram will come as Onion, Ambi, Remo, all these split personalities. So kind of it depicts Elon Musk in a way, because when he will be in a human mode, at work he's on a major workaholic engineering mode, and suddenly he becomes a dark demon mode. Most of his girlfriends or friends or employees who are very close to him understands that he is talking and next 1 or 2 minutes he's going to get into a demon mode. So people can sense that and then get ready for that. And always in the giddy mode. I told you, kick addiction. Okay, he's always in a giddy mode. He's a visualizer. He's keep on flying. You know, his ideas and his imagination is very wild. So he's always giddy. Okay, and at times he behaves in a very silly manner. I mean, silly mode. Okay, it's the silly can be fun also. For example, after he buys Twitter, he comes to office with a sink. Literally carries a sink and roams around in the office to convey a message that whatever I'm saying, guys, it has to sink in you. Just to convey that. Imagine a promoter who has paid $44 billion to acquire a company and casually picks up a sink and walks around and tells them, this is how I want to signify what I'm thinking, what I have in mind, right? So these are all the certain behavioral modes which actually sets him apart, sets him very unique, very peculiar. So in addition to that, the other personality traits which is there, he's got a genius quality in terms of identifying the talent. The second thing is he has very less respect or view on people who are formally educated, and he has great regards for people who are smart and creative. Okay, this is interesting. Actually, when you are an entrepreneur, when you are a family business owner, the first time when you hire a person is based on his qualification and his experience. And more formal qualifications people have, like IIT, CA or IIMs or whatever, you obviously tend to think that they will be extremely capable, right? That's an impression you get primarily based on qualifications. But here is little different. He has a genius talent in terms of hiring the right talent. So we discussed about his personality traits, such as he's very quirky, aggressive, doesn't care about relationships, empathy is not there, and he's a taskmaster, and he doesn't really see too much of formal education. All these kind of a dark demon in his behavior. When suddenly he'll become professional, when suddenly he'll become nasty, is completely unpredictable. Right? This is what we have heard, right? So I was very curious to know if such a person is there, and why will somebody join him, and how will they stick around with him, was the question I had in mind. Because in India, when we hire quality people, we build a great relationship with them. More often, we tell our employees as part of our family, and we give them rewards, we give them ESOPs and whatnot. I mean, for a good quality, capable people, we do so many things. In spite of all that, a great talent sticking around with the family business becomes a big challenge, right? But for such a person, how do people join? And because as humans, what more than money, we need respect, right? Because that's what in fact many companies where people stick around for longer is because they respect people. Here they respect your talent, not you as a person. They respect your skill, not you as a person, right? So that is one difference which I noticed. Then I was wondering, how do people stick around here? In that, the author says that he is able to draw people who are smarter because they are also aspirational. I'm sure he must be paying great money as well, because when he's waiting for talents to perform, I'm sure the financial rewards should be compelling as well. So this is broadly about his personality, which I observed. But if you go through the book and if you actually go through that video, I'm sure you will observe quite a few things about his personality. So please post your thoughts on the comment section about some more personality traits which you observe in the video and the book. So far, we discussed about Elon Musk as a person and the personality. And the third important or unimaginable attribute of Elon Musk is the power he has wielded. Of course, he has a leadership in technology, SpaceX, business, size, wealth. All that is one important aspect which gives him a lot of power. And he's a great negotiator. Okay, the way he negotiates with people, negotiates with governments, is outstanding. It makes him more and more powerful when he wins those kind of negotiations. So imagine, as an individual, right, who's prone to so much of controversies, still is able to wield so much power, not only because of the size of the wealth or the size of the market cap or size of the shareholders' value is created, but out of his sheer products, convictions, negotiations. I think that's a power he has brought in as a person physically, and then as an entrepreneur and as a leader. And the fourth unimaginable attribute is purpose, right? I always talk about this purpose in every family business context, because I always say that more than the vision, a promoter or an entrepreneur should have a larger purpose. The author talks about three big missions as his purpose. Okay, one is make people a spacefaring civilization. What is spacefaring civilization? Spacefaring civilization is making it multi-planetary and taking people to another planet, especially Mars. Okay, this is one purpose. The second bigger mission seems to be bring us into the sustainable energy, the era of electric mobility, solar roofs, and battery packs. The third biggest mission is make sure that the artificial intelligence is safe and it aligns with the human values. These purposes are pretty large, highly imaginative, and it may be very difficult to understand, but that's what makes Elon Musk. So in essence, what is there for family businesses out of this? Okay, passion gets into an obsession and leading to addiction is a dangerous recipe for disaster. Okay, in a normal scenario, it worked for Elon Musk, and it has been working for him for so long, and not necessary that it has to work for all of us. I would like to summarize this with one Thirukkural. உள்ளியது எய்தல் எளிதுமன் மற்றும் தான் உள்ளியது உள்ள பெறேன். So the meaning of that is that if you are a person, you consistently, continuously, without forgetting this thought, release a pure thought that what you want to be and what you want to become and how you want this business to be, how you want a person to be. And if you're always constantly keep thinking about it, keep dreaming about it in a purest form, if you release your pure thought that this is what I want to get, no matter what the circumstances, you don't even know how we are going to get that. But one simple, consistent, continuous, pure thought that lingers in your mind, that what you want to be and what you want to become, and eventually you get there, which is what has happened in Elon Musk's case, right? He was consistently dreaming about something which he wants to achieve, which probably in the normal course looks very unachievable for people like us, but he doesn't care about that whole thing. I really admired this Thirukkural, and it's very appropriate for us as human beings, us as entrepreneurs, us as family business owners. Whatever you want to become in your business or as a person, please continue to keep that purest form of thought flowing with respect of constraints, respect of situations, and you will eventually get there. That's the message here. I hope you would have really enjoyed this episode. As always, Please feel free to comment, feel free to post your thoughts and post your learnings, whatever you have. So next week we are going to see or learn about another interesting personality who lived about 80, 90 years ago, who died about 50 years back. So it's a movie which came in 2004. One more clue is Leonardo DiCaprio. This is another interesting character or a personality like Elon Musk. So don't miss it.